So, we're talking about trust issues today, huh? Well, that's not a surprise. I mean, I don't even trust myself. How can I trust others? Oh, hey, Gicelle, focus. Okay. Alright, so, talking about trust issues, huh? Well, in my class, I actually learned about public policies and human psychology. And there's one thing that my lecturers said, and it's really, really amazing, which is to build public trust, you need two things: transparency and empathy. First of all, I will talk about empathy because I believe in this condition, our feelings and mental state really plays a big role in every decision in our life, especially our government. This global pandemic has made us feel all sorts of negative feelings, fears, anxieties, global economic crisis, which leads to distrust of the government. That's right. This is where empathy shows up. Now, the question is, how can empathy shows in politics? Have you ever seen an empathy in politic arena? No, I don't see anything. Nuh-uh. Because it's rather been absent in the political arena. Why? Why is that happening? Because people still think emotion as weak and irrational in policy making, which is not true, guys. According to psychology, the best policies were created with hearts because emotions are super important for us to understand how society might judge this policy. You might wonder, what does our government do during this pandemic, and why are Indonesians so distrusting towards their own government? Well, I'm gonna start with public health system itself because I'm majoring in public health. And yeah, you can trust me because I have some hot tea for you. Prepare your teacup. First, data transparency. According to the data, fluctuation of COVID-19 in Indonesia is not clear. Some people said, oh, we want to prevent public hysteria. Oh, we want to avoid stigma on the COVID-19 people. Guys, that is literally the problem, okay? How can you develop a surveillance strategy to break COVID-19 if you still think like that? Now, number 2, late treatment. Our country wasn't prepared at all in the beginning. The Ministry of Health said that we have over 300,000 hospital beds. Not bad. But how much population do we have? 270 million people. That's not enough. Next, lack of protective equipment. This is serious, okay? I'm going to stay calm because this is serious. The Doctor Association in Indonesia say that we have over 300 health workers who have died because of COVID-19. The cause of it is because, first, lack of personal protective equipment, and also patients lied about their travel histories. So I want you guys to be honest with everything, alright? Next, tourism. Now this is where the tea, alright, the hot tea is here. Because for information, before positive case was found in Indonesia, our president creates a conference. Oh, that's great. What was the conference about? To increase the tourism promotion in Indonesia by giving 72 billion rupiah to pay influencers to promote Indonesian tourist destination. What? Next, country policies, which are lockdown and social distancing, as we all know. However, you know how stubborn Indonesians are, right? Yeah, some of them are obedient, but many of them are not. Indonesians use partial lockdown, which is closing the public places, schools, and also places to pray, like church, mosque, and so on. But unfortunately, the implementation in Indonesia itself is not effective. Why? Because many businesses are still allowed to remain open. If the policy wants to be effective, it needs to have strong enforcement. The main points of my speech are: first, yes, Yes, our citizens have trust issues towards our government policies. And number two, the government in general made mistakes on a priority scale in handling the COVID-19 pandemic in the beginning. They focused more on protecting the economic stability rather than public health and health securities. Finally, my personal perspective on trust issues regarding government policies during a pandemic, I think it's acceptable. Why? Our citizens are allowed to feel that way because, as I said before, our government unpreparedness also exposes bad governance. Personally, in these uncertain times, we became more familiar with negative feelings, which leads to difficulties in giving trust to anyone in general. This is a democratic country. The government should create policies by taking consideration from our people, from us guys. So as citizens, we have rights to criticize and to give input. My mother said that our voice is the voice of God that is entrusted to the people. Also remember, there's always two sides of a coin. So instead of only saying, this rule is garbage, I don't trust the government, what can you suggest? Okay? For example, take a look at New Zealand. How come a very progressive country led by a female prime minister, yes, go girl, how can New Zealand have zero new cases without second wave of COVID-19? Or if you can't give suggestion, at least obey the existing rules like social distancing, using masks, and washing your hands. It's real simple, but I know a lot of you cannot do it constantly. Finally, my name is Gicelle Maher, and check up on others. Bye-bye.